We're going to be talking about Monster Hunter Wild Steam reviews. Let me tell you something. Do I have like clown music? This was called out months ago when the first beta test came out. And obviously Capcom has a history of not optimizing their games or just being way too ambitious of what they overpromise on. Every time. Okay, what do we want out of Street Fighter? What do we want out of Resident Evil? What do we want out of blank? I clearly don't know, and obviously employees are constantly being changed around and stuff like that as well. So the game company you may have liked a decade ago is not going to be the same as it is now. So I'm just going to read through usually the more popular ones, just to go through the general idea of what Monster Hunter Wilds is going through. Monster Hunter Wilds is going through. I almost said World, because now I don't know why they call it Wild, because now the abbreviation is MHW, which is the same thing as Monster Hunter World. It's like they didn't think that. Obviously, it's at mixed reviews. So we're going to start with the first one. Obviously, they gave it a positive review. I think the best way to usually get to the top is make a joke review and you make it positive so people can give you all these rewards. Very immersive game. You could cook a well-done steak on your GPU while you play, and the hot blasts of air from your PC fans truly make you feel like you're in the desert. Keep a bag of sand by your desk and periodically toss handfuls of it into the air to really complete the experience. See, and it's funny because this didn't have nearly as many gesture rewards as the second one because it's a negative review. This one's a positive, a joke review, but it's true because it's true about the experience of trying to play Monster Hunter Wilds because it's ridiculous. There's even people who not only just pre-ordered it and got it early access, but today, like these reviews are coming out today because it came out today and they're showing that the game is still not optimized. And I already knew it wouldn't be. By your second beta test, if you still have graphical issues, you clearly don't know what you're doing. Like this game, I can't believe I'm saying this about this game of all games, but it needed like another year, which is crazy because I said that less about Sparking Zero because at least that's optimized. Okay, in Unreal Engine 5, by the way, and I know it doesn't use nearly as strong as rasterization as Monster Hunter Wilds. I get it. Okay, but using the Resident Evil engine for this game in an open world has been a death sentence for it. In terms of optimization, obviously it's popular. It was going to be. Like, I was never going to doubt the fact that it was going to sell. Streamers jumping on it and everything like that. I already knew that was going to be a thing. I know it crashed on me multiple times, and I had the evidence for that. I did it on stream. But man, it's still crashing. And I think I said there was going to be a third beta. I think I meant to say there was 2 different times in which you could do it. I think they clearly didn't learn anything. That beta was way too late. Having a beta like 3 weeks before you're releasing your game is insane. You should have waited way longer than that. You should be having betas they should have had a beta every month at that point because they didn't learn from the 4 months that they didn't do the beta. I think there was even a disclaimer at the bottom that the benchmark doesn't always reflect whether or not you can play the game. All right, here's the second review. This is thumbs down. It's a negative review. That's what that means for people that don't have Steam. Red thumb down mean bad. Blue thumb up mean good. I'll say this. I love your games. I even love this game so far. There's a lot of credible stuff in it. Did you play either beta? You sure about that? Like, I can't believe they made it one of the first areas just a giant desert. Oh yeah, you really bring me into your game world when you make a flippin' giant desert. I can see why people are giving it an 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10, even 10 out of 10. I don't know how. Well, they probably played World and thought Wilds is just the same stuff, so they're just going to give it the same rating. That or it's bots. It's hard to tell how honest people are on the internet about things. I'm even able to play it as comfortable, stable frame rate with good visuals. That's a lie because thankfully I'm blessed with quite a decent setup. See, you should have told us your setup. If you said like 9800X 3D, yeah, okay, I believe you, but like otherwise. But what the hell is the lack of optimization? Are you trying to force frame gen on us? So what people are talking about with this review, the game is forcing frame gen on you from the beginning. They ask you, enable frame gen? No game should ask you that. Okay, no game in the history of ever should ever do that. They should never ask you if you have to put on flipping frame generation just to play your game. That's a disaster right from the get-go. Not everyone is able to use this tech. I saw how the game runs. It looks on consoles, also not the best situation there. No kidding. No kidding. They didn't learn? Capcom learning? You think the whole situation with Dragon's Dogma 2 would change something for the better instead we have this? Nope. As of now, unless you have a beefy PC or an absolute Monster Hunter fan who'd play this game as at a low locked frame rate with possible sacrifices in terms of visuals, do not buy this game. I agree. Wait for a sale, I agree. Better optimization, I agree, I concur. Or whatever, you have an amazing rig. I wouldn't do that either. Because all the updates will come later, just like World did. All the free title updates will just come later. I don't know if I'll still buy this game, though. And maybe if it's at $30. We'll see. This is the worst AAA product in terms of its technical state that I've seen in a long time, man. Well, not in a long time. Dragon's Dogma 2 was dog crap. Does Capcom even know their own games anymore? No. I don't know what they were thinking, dude. It's like, what are you time crunching? No one knows how to program anymore. Okay, no one knows how to code anything anymore, and you expect games to come out when you have such a low crunch time. This has been the idea since the PS3 and Xbox 360 era, right? Why optimize your game when we could just give you guys an update through the internet, fix stuff? Like Skyrim did the same thing. They kept the glitch underneath Whiterun where you get the chest though, but The Ogma Infinium glitch, that had to be patched in as an update on the PS3. So that's the mentality that modern developers have had since that era. Well, we can just fix it over the internet. We're also hypercritical about things way more than we were during those eras, because when games came in complete or in a state at which they couldn't be changed, you're obviously either going to accept it or not play it. PS2 games, how are you going to update it? How many game-breaking glitches in the PS2 era was so bad to the point that you needed to turn in the game, or at least wait for an update? I mean, I'd argue the Skyrim ones weren't enough to really call it that, but it changed the game to the point you just break it. But yeah, this is not a shocker to me. Like, all these downvotes, the mixed reception, it's not a shock at all. All right, we're on to the third review. This game is absolutely amazing, but has the worst optimization I've ever seen. I don't know about amazing. I don't know if it's better than Worlds, though. That's what I'm saying. I just don't think the focus mode's really that great of an increase. I'm a great sword player. I like great swords in most games. Dark Souls series, I love it. Monster Hunter World, I love it. Slow weapon, big damage. Kind of wish it was tankier in Monster Hunter World, but it's not. I understand that new games are becoming more demanding. Right, is that why Kingdom Come Deliverance 2? I'm not saying it has the best graphics, and you could argue the politics, the hypocrisy, whatever. But the game's optimized to run well. It might not be the most graphics-intensive game ever made, but I think there's a point of diminishing returns, as I talked about before. By putting 50,000 more polygons on the thing, is it really going to make it better? That's why I think people prefer, especially Nintendo fans, a stylized art style that will last the test of time instead of relying on this hyper-realistic graphics that is never optimized on release. Do you think Capcom's quality in games has become like every new iPhone that has come out? Or it's just the same with a different number? Correct, yeah. This is supposed to be a leap up from World, which is a game that came out 7 years ago, which, to be fair, had optimization issues in the beginning, but never this bad. It was never this bad. I played it, not on release, but in the summer of 2018 and even later on. That game was not that bad in terms of playing. I was playing on a 1050 Ti, just pointing that out, and an i5 8600K Intel. I am by no means saying this game is bad. I would. But this is a certain, I'm aware this is the first instance of new games having poor performance on launch, because the same thing happened with World. Not to this extent. World did not have 5 billion betas. I think it might have had a demo, but it didn't have 2 betas in which to gain data from people testing the game for you. You had people testing the game for you twice, and hundreds of thousands of people, by the way. I didn't send in my test stuff. I should have done that. I'll probably just delete it out of my system. People are just wait for a more stable release. I agree. But people already did. Apparently this had 1.3 million at the top of Steam charts. I don't know how real that is or true. It's insane. That number's insane for even a newly released game. I don't think Baldur's Gate 3 was that big, and it sold a lot. But we'll see how this goes. I don't know how long the player retention is going to be for this game. It might drop off by the end of the month. Of next month, excuse me. Today's the end of the month. They released it on the last day of February. All right, next review. Capcom, please auto-collect the bug reports that you spent over 5 minutes generating. Yes, I beg of thy. Manually emailing off bug reports is ancient tech. Yeah, that's some archaic stuff, dude. What is this, 90s, 2000s? What is it, like you just sent it on DOS? Emailing you on AOL? Looks like the game is getting confused when it's forcing full screen on widescreen monitors. The crash report kicks up upon going full screen, and the game starts loading. Unfortunately, the game thinks it's crashed, and after the crash tool has collected its log, the game closes itself even though it is now loading. Hopefully changing out of full screen fixes this. That's crazy. It's funny because what I've heard about certain games that you should actually play in full screen. You know what I mean? Instead of like borderless window, because the way it runs, the rasterization process or the programming inside. Don't buy on day one is the gamer experience of I'll see it on stream. Yeah, people just watch someone else stream it. That's the modern day thing. It's been like that for over... well, Let's Plays was the first thing, and then streaming became more popular. That was also a negative review, obviously. Why? How does a game manage to run perfectly fine in the open beta? Incorrect. How is it? People had issues in both betas. Not even just for me. People just still had issues in the beta. I know the first beta was a disaster. The second beta was a little bit better, but man, excellent rating score in the benchmark, but the actual product that costs... You can't use the open beta and the benchmark were two different things. But the actual product that costs actual money runs like absolute sludge, correct. I have legit never encountered a game that wasn't at worst playable. Are these reviews for WoWs? Yes, they are, man. I've been going through them and laughing. Even correcting some stuff here and there. Sort of. Absolutely atrocious performance for how the game looks. Runs even worse than the beta. Which one? There was two. For reference, I could run the beta at a comfortable 60-70 frames per second on high, usually higher than that. Not me. And I think that was actually due to OBS. Now I'm running at less than 50 on medium with noticeable dips. The game does not look nearly good enough to warrant this performance. Everything is covered in a grimy texture with assets that look like you straight took them out of a PS3 game. It's also true. I was watching a video about that as well. Even on high textures, the leather and stuff of like the sails of the ship or the outline of certain objects was horrendous. PS3 graphics at best. But I can run KCD2, which is Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 and Cyberpunk on maxed out settings comfortably. There is no reason this game should be running like this. Well, to be fair, Cyberpunk had some issues running in the first year it came out. Wait for a sale or optimization updates. Agree on both of these. Play games on my deck that look better than this. When I was a kid in Russia, I couldn't believe how good Monster Hunter Frontier Ultimate looked on my PSP. The entire world in my hands, comrade. It saddens me the mediocrity that Capcom has fallen into. It was already mediocrity, but did you not remember Resident Evil 5 and 6? I mean, 5's better than 6, but 5 was where it's like, okay, where are we going? What do you mean? They were bad back then. It's just like you have nostalgia. Dude, Capcom's been getting dunked on for a while now. Not nearly as hard as EA, and not nearly as hard as Ubisoft recently. They're up there now. They've been up there after Dragon's Dogma 2. They're getting up there even more. Maybe how they remade certain Resident Evils, like Resident Evil 3 specifically. I know that one probably out of all the remakes, people like the least because the cut content, stuff like that. But what do I know? Maybe I'm just a little silly Billy and my 4070 toaster is just outdated at this point. It's not outdated. The game's not optimized. Guess I'll go back to playing better looking games on Ultra. Nice. Right on, man. This doesn't deserve a clown reward. They're right. Why are you booing them? They're right. This game is a solid 10 frames per second. Thank you, Pablo Escobar. I'm glad you came out of your grave just to tell us that this game is unoptimized. On Steam Deck, damn. If you close your eyes, it looked nice. Steam Deck terrifying. But I mean, that's 0.3. Some of these people are just farming rewards at this point. I mean, probably because their game crashed. Monster Hunter Wilds, I'm ready. Nope. But RE Engine is definitely not ready, though. Don't worry. Even though it looks bad, at least it runs poorly. Tried to brute force RE engine, Resident Evil engine, into open world games. Clearly just does not work. They didn't think that through. I think Dragon's Dogma 2 was the RE engine as well. It's like, how do you not know that? Like, I don't know, man. Monster Hunter World, too much handler. Yeah, people complained about the handler back then. Monster Hunter Rise, no handler. Monster Hunter Wilds, wait, she was kind of cute, though. The real monster is Capcom because the $70 price tag is wild. I agree. Let me guess, how many? See, no Jester's here. When you talk about the price of the game, it's okay. But when you talk about what's bad in the game, no. The minimum necessary requirements for this game, it's practically a lie. This game is expected to run at never say this. Never say this ever, dude. That is the least confident statement to make about whether or not your game could run at a certain graphical integrity, dude. This game is expected to run at 1080p, but it's upscaled from 720 native. That's the worst part. Upscaled for 540p. Upscaled from 720p. This game is expected to run at 1080p, 60 frames per second with frame generation enabled. I can't believe they had to put that in the additional notes. How bad are you at making your games? Notice how it's mixed? 51% of the reviews. It used to be 42%. It was way lower, but now there's a lot of review bombing, and I don't know why Steam doesn't take care of that. They could make rules of, depending on how long you played the game, you can make a review. I think that'd be better if they did that, because 0.3 is ridiculously low, even though this is true. It's probably because they couldn't play the game.